When you're trying to decide whether a premium soundbar is worth the money, the hesitation usually comes from a mix of doubts. Will it actually make my movies sound better? Will the bass be too loud for a modest living room, and am I just paying for a brand name? I'm going to walk through those questions with a focus on real-world use, so you can judge the value, the everyday performance, and whether this particular model fits your space and habits. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First, let's talk about what the Samsung Q950A is trying to deliver. It's positioned as an 1.1.4 channel system, meaning you get a main soundbar, two side-firing speakers, rear speakers, and a wireless subwoofer, all designed to work together for Dolby Atmos and DTS-X. In practice, that translates to a few concrete experiences. If you're the type who watches a lot of dialogue-heavy content, think dramas, documentaries, or anything with fast-talking characters, you'll notice the clarity right away. The central channel is dedicated to speech, and on a typical 55-inch TV setup, the voices stay on the screen rather than drifting into the rear speakers. In a recent binge of a crime series, the accents and low-key murmurs stayed crisp, which is a big win for anyone who finds themselves rewinding scenes just to catch a line. Bass performance is another area where a lot of buyers get nervous. The wireless subwoofer that ships with this system is sizable, and it can fill a medium-sized living room with enough low-frequency impact to feel the explosions in an action movie without turning the whole floor into a shaking platform. That said, if you're in a smaller apartment, you might need to dial the sub level back. I've found that placing the sub a couple of feet away from a wall reduces the boom-boom feeling while still preserving the punch you want for a car chase. Surround effect is where the Atmos and DTS-X claims become tangible. The side and rear speakers are upward firing, which means they bounce sound off the ceiling to create that overhead sensation. In a darkened room, rain scenes actually sound like they're falling above you, and in a sci-fi film, the spacecraft noises seem to move around you rather than staying flat. For gaming, the same technology makes directional cues more precise. You'll hear a gunshot coming from behind you even if you're glued to the screen. Room size fit is something that trips up many high-end soundbars. The Q950A's total speaker spread is designed for rooms up to about 400 square feet. In my own 300 square foot living room, the sound filled the space evenly. The left and right channels held their presence without spilling over the front. In a tighter space, say a 150 square foot bedroom, the upward firing drivers can become a bit overwhelming, especially the bass, so you might end up with a slightly muddy mix unless you use the built-in calibration to tone things down. Speaking of calibration, the system includes Samsung's auto setup mic, which listens to the room and adjusts levels. The process is quick, but you'll notice a learning curve if you're used to a simple plug-and-play soundbar. Once it's done, the balance is solid, though the mic can be thrown off by loud HVAC noise during the initial run, so I recommend doing it when the room is quiet. Connectivity is where the Q950A shines for the streaming-centric user. The HDMI eARC port handles full-resolution audio from any recent TV, so you get lossless Dolby Atmos from Netflix, Disney+, or Amazon Prime without an extra receiver. It also supports Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, letting you cast music from your phone or tablet directly to the bar. Alexa is built in, which means you can ask for volume changes, turn on your TV, or ask for the weather without reaching for the remote. The remote itself is a hybrid buttons for the usual volume and source functions, plus a small voice activation button. The learning curve comes from the fact that the remote controls both the soundbar and the TV in some configurations, so you'll need to press the TV/audio toggle a few times before it feels natural. Now, let's break down who should consider buying this system and who might want to look elsewhere. If you have a dedicated home theater room or a fairly large living area, enjoy movies with immersive soundtracks, play games that use positional audio, or listen to music that benefits from a wide soundstage, the Q950A is a solid upgrade over stock TV speakers. Its combination of height channels, a strong subwoofer, and support for the latest object-based audio formats gives you a genuine theater-like experience without the need for a full-blown AV receiver. On the other hand, if you live in a studio apartment, primarily watch TV shows on a basic cable package, or are on a tight budget, the price point might be hard to justify. You'll get a respectable improvement over built-in speakers, but you won't be unlocking the full Atmos potential if your content source doesn't support it. In that case, a more compact 2.1 soundbar would likely give you the